An 85-year-old man named Walter once said something that stopped everyone in the room, not because his voice was loud, but because it was honest in a way you rarely hear anymore. He said, "If someone had told me these 5 truths when I was 30, my life would have been very different, not worse, but calmer, happier, and far less rushed." He paused. Then he said something that nobody expected. "The strange thing is, none of it is complicated. You already know most of it. You just don't believe it yet." Today, he shares the 5 things he wishes he'd understood earlier, and somewhere in this list, one of them may already be true for you right now. Lesson number 1. Time moves faster than you think. Walter was 34 when his father died. He remembers standing at the graveside thinking, "I'll call more, I'll visit more, I'll slow down." He didn't, not because he was cruel, but because life felt long. And there was always next week, next month, next year. At 85, he says, life doesn't end suddenly for most people, it just quietly fills up. And one day, the people you meant to call are gone, the trips you planned never happened, and the version of yourself you were going to become never quite arrived. Here is what Walter wants you to know. The biggest illusion of youth isn't that you'll live forever, it's that you have time to start tomorrow. If something truly matters to you, don't negotiate with time. Time always wins. Lesson number 2. Your career will not remember you. For 38 years, Walter worked for the same company. He was there before the building was renovated. He trained the people who now run the place. When he retired, they gave him a watch and a card signed by 22 people. 14 of them he didn't recognize. His position was filled in 11 days. Walter isn't bitter about this. He says it clearly, so younger people understand what they're trading. Work is real. Providing for your family is real. But don't confuse obligation with identity. The company was never going to love you back. He missed his daughter's first school play for a client meeting he still can't remember. He missed 3 Christmases for projects that no longer exist. "I thought I was building something," Walter says quietly. "I was, just not what I thought. Work hard, be proud of your craft, but never let a spreadsheet become more important than a person." Lesson number 3. Most worries never become real. Walter kept a journal from age 35 to 55. A few years ago, he went back and read it. Page after page of fears, economic collapse, his children failing, his health deteriorating, his marriage cracking. He sat with that journal for a long time. Then he did something no one expected. He laughed. "Almost none of it happened," he said. "I spent 20 years carrying problems that never arrived. I was haunted by ghosts." He's not saying life doesn't bring real pain. It does. His wife got sick. He lost friends. He had his share of darkness, but he says the real suffering and the imagined suffering, they both cost you sleep. They both cost you days. The difference is one of them was never real. Worry is not preparation. It's just suffering in advance. And most of what you fear today will never ask anything of you. Lesson number 4. Friendships become priceless later in life. At 40, Walter had 9 close friends, men he'd grown up with, men he'd built his life alongside. By 70, 3 had died. 2 had drifted so far that reconnecting felt almost impossible. 1 moved abroad, and they never found their rhythm again. 3 remained. "I thought friendship was something that maintained itself," Walter says, "like a building. It just stands there. You don't have to do anything. But friendship is more like a garden. Leave it long enough and it doesn't just pause. It changes. It grows over." Walter tells younger people something specific now. Call the friend you haven't called in 2 years. Not next month. This week. Because you think there's more time. And there might be, but there might not. He lost his closest friend, a man named Roy, to a heart attack in 2019. The last time they spoke was 3 months before. Walter said, "We'll get together soon." Friendship doesn't die loudly. It fades in the space between soon and too late. Lesson. Chapter 5. Happiness was always in the small moments. For most of his life, Walter believed happiness was a destination. Get the promotion, pay off the house, retire comfortably, then rest, then happiness. But when he finally arrived at all those places, they felt different than he expected. Quieter, more ordinary. And then one evening, he was sitting on the back porch with his wife, Margaret. She was reading. He was watching the light change in the garden. Their old dog was lying in the grass. The coffee was warm, nothing was happening, and Walter felt with sudden and unexpected clarity, this is it. This is the thing I was chasing. Not the promotion, not the pension. This. I had been so focused on building a life worth living, he says, that I forgot to live it. He thinks about that porch often now. Margaret passed 6 years ago. The dog is gone. The garden is smaller, but that evening is still with him, perfectly whole. The extraordinary thing about ordinary moments, Walter says, is that you only know they were extraordinary later. And by then, you can only remember them. You can't go back. Happiness isn't waiting for you at the finish line. It's already here in the days you might be rushing past right now. After sharing these 5 lessons, Walter was quiet for a moment. Then he looked up and said something simple. Not dramatic, not polished, just honest. He said, "I'm not telling you this because your life will look like mine. It won't, but the speed of it will feel the same. And one day, you'll be sitting somewhere quiet, looking back. What I want for you, what I wish someone had wanted for me, is that when that day comes, you're not surprised by how fast it went. Start now. Slow down. Call the person. Stay for the coffee. You still have time. Use it like you know that." The greatest wisdom often arrives late. The greatest gift is hearing it early enough to do something about it.